From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Victor Beattie reporting. Kurdish officials in northeast Syria are expected to declare a federal system in areas they control. The announcement could come as early as Thursday following a conference in Kurdish-held territory. U.S. spokesman Mark Toner Wednesday said such a move must be widely accepted by Syria's various factions and its people.
In response to that, I would just say we've been very clear that we won't recognize any kind of self-rule, semi-autonomous zones in Syria. Really, this is something that needs to be discussed and agreed upon by the relevant parties in Geneva, but then broadly more accepted by the Syrian people themselves.
The plan has been rejected by Damascus. The Kurds currently are excluded from the Geneva peace process on Syria's political future. The move will also likely face opposition from neighboring Turkey, which fears a Kurdish state would increase calls for separatism among its own minority Kurds. In Nigeria, 2 suicide bombers killed at least 22 people at a mosque outside the Borno state capital, Maiduguri, Wednesday. The attack wounded nearly 20 others and took place in a village and is the first such assault since early February. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, although similar attacks carried out by the Sunni insurgency Boko Haram, which has pledged its allegiance to the Islamic State. Kenya's armed forces on Wednesday killed at least 19 suspected Shabab fighters attempting to ambush Somali troops in southern Somalia. The Kenyan troops are acting under the aegis of the African Union mission to Somalia, AMISOM. The firefight occurred in the lower Juba area. Follows a string of militant attacks, including a twin bombing in Baidoa last month that killed at least 30 people. This is VOA News. The White House says President Obama will deliver an address to the Cuban people on Tuesday at the end of a historic visit next week to the communist-ruled island nation. Officials say it will lay out a vision of greater freedom and economic opportunity. Ted Hankin, a Cuba analyst at Baruch College in New York, says the White House hopes to change the view of the Cuban people toward the U.S.
Communicate directly to the people that our policy is really built around empowerment, prosperity, not poverty, engagement, not isolation. And while we will and we are making diplomatic connections and strides with the government, we also intend to continue to respectfully and diplomatically but forcefully stand up for American values of human rights, democracy.
Mr. Obama's trip, which begins Sunday, will be the first by a sitting U.S. president in nearly 90 years. Embattled Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff Wednesday named her popular predecessor, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, as her chief of staff, a move that offers him protection from prosecution over corruption allegations. Mark Jones is a Latin American analyst at Rice University.
By naming him her chief of staff, he receives ministerial immunity, which means he can only be tried by the Supreme Court. And given delays, that means he'll be potentially running for president in a couple of years when that actually might even occur.
Ms. Rousseff herself faces a series of allegations. Her image has been tarnished by a deepening recession and impeachment proceedings. President Obama Wednesday nominated federal appeals court judge Merrick Garland to fill the Supreme Court seat vacated last month following the sudden death of Justice Antonin Scalia.
A selected nominee who is widely recognized not only as one of America's sharpest legal minds, but someone who brings to his work a spirit of decency, modesty, integrity, even-handedness, and excellence.
But Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said the Senate will not take up the matter since Mr. Obama is in the final months of his last term.
It is the president's constitutional right to nominate a Supreme Court justice, and it is the Senate's constitutional right to act as a check on a president and withhold its consent.
He said the nomination should be left to the next president to fill. The European Union holds a two-day summit Thursday on finalizing an agreement with Turkey to curb mass migration to Europe. The deal obligates Ankara to halt the perilous sea journeys of migrants and refugees, take back illegal migrants from Greece. For each one Turkey takes in, another will be sent to the 28-member EU. The Islamist administration in Libya's capital, Tripoli, has warned a new UN-backed unity government Wednesday that it's not welcome. Libya has two rival administrations, one in the west and an internationally recognized one in the east. I'm Victor Beattie, VOA News.
That's the latest world news from VOA.